A foreigner in the Philippines. Now, even I don't know what she's going to say next. What?
Yeah, so again, this is another advice section. This is from Nancy.
Is that the code name, honey?
No, I don't know if maybe it's not real name, but the name is Nancy.
Well, whatever.
Nancy,
there's probably
thank you
several
for sharing.
million Nancy's out there.
Thank you for sharing your problem. I read the problem and it's not easy.
It's not what?
It's not easy.
Okay.
Dear Terence and Beth, I am Nancy from Camotes Island. You know what is Camotes? That's a nice island in Cebu. I have a live-in foreigner boyfriend, but last 2 months we have a big fight that led me to go home in our island. Where's that? It takes 2 weeks before we settle our agreement, and I decided to give him another chance. I went back to Cebu and we back together. We both decided to level up our relationship since we've been living together for 8 months, so we decided to get married this upcoming February 2019. I thought everything is perfect now, and out of the blue, last Monday, he confessed that when I was away for 2 weeks, he met a woman in a resto bar. Resto bar is restaurant and bar, right? And they had a great night and day together in bed.
Oh, in bed. The whole night and the whole day? Wow, okay.
The whole night, great night and day together in bed, and the woman is now pregnant. I don't know how to react, and until now I am still crying and undecided what to do. Steven told me he chose me over the lady because he loves me, but I am confused what to do. Please, I need an advice ASAP. Nancy.
Okay, Nancy. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you're in between a rock and a hard place, as they say in America. Always great sayings in America, I feel. But you left, and you left him alone. You don't say whether when you left, as you walked out the door, did you say, that's it, we're finished? Did he say, don't come back? Is that what happened? And then you left for 2 weeks? First of all, he did tell you, apparently, that that was it. But you make it seem as if he told you after he had secured your promise to get married. So maybe that's the carrot that is supposed to entice you into being with him. It's a difficult situation because it's like 2 rights or 2 wrongs don't make a right. You were not there, so he was free, I guess, he thought, to do as he wished. But it does sound like a betrayal, because if you then got together with him again, and that's when it turned out that this other lady is pregnant, do you know that it's his child? Is it really his child? That would be something that you would need to know. It just seems strange, doesn't it, that there are people around who are doing everything that they can, taking vitamins, not somebody that's not too far from here, and going to bed as early as they can and taking a rest and doing all of this exercises and God knows what, and they can't have a baby yet. And then suddenly, and I'm not just talking about us, I just answered a letter tonight, a few minutes ago, where the couple have written to me and said about in vitro, and they were suggesting another treatment. And they are having in vitro, and they are happily married. And now suddenly, one day and a night, and bang. It does test the imagination, doesn't it? But anyway, assuming that it's true, and the child is his, what plans does he have for dealing with that? Because if there is a child, if he is interested in that child, if he wants to continue to be a father to that child, but not be a partner to the mother, then there's something of a problem there, isn't there? Because what's going to happen is that he is going to visit the child, and he wasn't very ethical in the first place, so how ethical will he be when he gets in there and this other lady, the mother of this child, which is supposedly his, is going, believe me, is going to do everything that she can to draw him back in.
Yeah.
And if the child becomes a real treasure to him, for instance, if he's never had a daughter and she presents him with a daughter, for Beth and I would just love to have a daughter. That's what I would love to have. Beth, of course, is not decided on either, and would be happy to have a boy or a girl. But I've been all boys in the families that I've had, virtually, that I've been able to keep, and I'd like a girl. Maybe he's like that, or maybe it's the opposite way round and he wants a son and she gives him a son. This is fraught with difficulties that are ongoing. That's the point about this. This is not just a straight decision of staying with one woman or the other. It's a difficult decision, and it's going to take ongoing day-by-day decisions and temptations and persuasions which are going to be made on your man. So, Beth, what do you say?
Yeah, it's quite difficult situation, but it's, because that's why it's very important that before, I think that's the reasons why there is a 6 months period. What do you call that when you broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend?
That's what they say. You're supposed to go
months.
into a grieving process.
Yeah, a grieving process, because who knows, you will be reconciled in that period of time.
That's possible.
So that's why, but in your case, in just 2 weeks, he's been roaming around and he saw the girl and they have a great night, but in the first beginning, why is it he didn't tell you when you've been reconciled, right? He
should have told you before you arrived back.
Yeah, he should tell you the truth, that look, it's a mistake, I know that, but it's, a man that will tell what's happening is a brave man, and at the same time, then you will be able to decide whether it's worth it to come back or it's not. And now the problem is getting bigger, because I'm sure that
yes, in many ways.
Yeah, in so many ways, because you don't but it's up to you. It's quite difficult, because it's very difficult to give an advice to somebody's shoes, especially if we're not in the situations, because it's easy for us to tell them. It's easy for us to tell her or tell him, but when they're in that situations, it's difficult because there's love. It's easy to say, oh, I'm gonna leave you, but in your heart, it's very difficult because you love that man. And at the same time, the man loves you, but because of the that's why we're very careful on whatever thing we're doing, because there are always been consequences, and sometimes the consequences in every aspects of our life, sometimes it's difficult to deal with, So in your case, there's already a child, so there, what do you call that? A test of the blood. What do you call that?
A DNA test.
A DNA.
But somebody has to pay.
Can you DNA even if the child is in the womb of the mother?
I think that you can actually. Yes, you can have like a biopsy type of. Well, there is. I'm sure that there is a technique, but the point that you're going to have to consider is that if you, as the partner of choice, without the child, if you are the one that goes back with him, you're going to have to deal with a ghost, and that ghost is going to be there, and that ghost is going to have a regular visit to haunt you, and they're going to bring with them a child, and that child is going to be a powerful draw on your partner, and you have to face this. So rather than ask yourself whether you can bear to be parted from this man, you're going to have to ask yourself, can you stand the pain of regularly being reminded that he had this affair and that there is a child that's at consequence. If you're Filipina, especially with the reverence that Filipinas have for a child, it's going to be a very powerful draw, and it's going to be a very powerful point of hurt for you.
Yeah, but if in case that her foreigner boyfriend and the girl in a one night and one day have no special connections, right? It's just all flesh, right? They've been together because of calling of the flesh. But if, like that, so if there is no special bond between them, maybe nothing to worry, right? Who knows, the woman who get pregnant find another man, and then, just he will be a father, but at the same time he will be it's just what you call that, not a special person to the mother of the child. Could be, right? There's a lot on that in the movie.
He's a foreigner, yes.
Yeah.
And he's a foreigner, and he went with a one night stand, and he didn't have a condom. This I'm struggling with this.
Darling, you cannot go everywhere with a condom, right?
If you're going to a bar,
What
and
if
you're
they
going
just
to meet someone, and you might, well, I don't know, hasn't he heard of coitus interruptus, like pulling out? There are more than one way of not getting pregnant.
Yeah, but what if it was not unintended, right? As what in the letter, they just met in the resto bar. Maybe the foreigner went to the bar, and then the girl was there, and all of the two of them has a problem, and then they like that.
All of it, yes, it's a valid
Possible.
it's a valid observation. It's a valid
And then
observation.
of course the man are not intended to have sex, right? Of course he didn't bring condom. Right? Could be.
Yes, dear.
So I'm just trying to look around the whole scenario, but it's very difficult on your situations, and because it's a matter of choosing what is the best and what is at the same time on both parties.
Right.
Because in your side you don't want to be that the child don't have a complete family, right? You want, as a child, if we are a child, we always want to have a complete family. We have a
yes.
mother and the father together, so it's so difficult.
Yeah, but
But I'm sure
there's
that
no
there's
mileage
a
in
remedy.
it for us to sit here saying very difficult, because evidently you know it's very difficult. But the point is
That's
that
why.
you're going to have to look at the nature of what this liaison was with this lady while you were away and out of the picture. You don't say whether you were in touch with him. I mean, for instance, if you were away on your island and you were communicating to him every day, and he was omitting to say, yes dear, happy to see you. Oh, I'm over at the local resto bar, and I'm looking over at this lady, and she's looking very good to me. Do you understand what I'm saying? If there was no communication while you were out of the picture,
in other words,
that would be another thing.
Yeah, in other words, the betrayal, because if you've been contacting with your foreigner boyfriend and he still did that temptations, then possible he will do that again to you. So he's not worth it.
That's the point.
So just try to evaluate. This is now the basis of your decisions. Try to evaluate if that foreigner boyfriend that you've been living together for 8 months is worth to fight, or it's time to give up for the best.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
And just bear in mind the ghost is going to be there unless he just abandons the woman and the child. Even then, he's connected by paying something in terms of an ethical stand of integrity, that he would be paying something to help that child. If that mother doesn't find somebody else to love her and respect the child, then your boyfriend is going to be responsible for that. and you might be faced with various difficult decisions, like, are you going to invite her to the wedding? Sorry, I'm being facetious, okay? But
yeah, and I think the
it's fraught
DNA,
with difficulties.
the DNA, because it seems their meat in the resto bar, so quite a bit suspicious. So, and try to get an evil, what do you call that, Han? Personal background of the woman, if you can, because you don't want, if you love that man, and then you give up because of a wrong mistakes informations and the wrong details, it's so hurt. So again, it's so difficult. It's so difficult.
You're gonna have to look at the hurt. To sum up, you'll have to look at the amount of hurt that has happened already. You're going to have to look at what the future holds and how much pain that will hold.
Yeah.
Are you ready for that?
Are you ready to challenge?
Right. Are you willing to put up with that? And I think it's rather unfortunate that apparently he didn't tell you until you came back. And then he did oh, by the way, I'm really trying to be very honest here and tell you what happened. Well, you're already back and unpacked your suitcase, I'm assuming, which is less than ethical.
Yeah, and at the same time, I think it's also a lesson to others, that don't make things that later on you will the consequences, Sometimes you need to use also not just your emotions, but at the same time, even if you're in an emotion stage, you need to use your brain.
Well, you need to make
judgment.
You need to make agreements as well and keep them. When Beth and I met, after we decided that we both felt that we could be committed to each other, and right from the very word go, I was not going to be around. So we were going to be separated. And we knew that it might be for a month or 2 months. And so we spoke it out and we laid it out and we said there should be no other boyfriends, girlfriends, going out, dating, anything. The opposite sex for both of us was forbidden ground. And we kept that agreement. And because of that, we were able to overcome the distance and the separation.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't help you now, but maybe for others who are facing the possibility of a similar situation, boy, when you're not going to be seeing each other, the temptations are all there for women and for men.
Yeah, the temptation is always there, present every day, and
Yes.
all you need to do is just be careful that you will not be trapped on that temptation. Right. So again, what's the name of that darling? Nancy, I hope
Good luck.
I hope for the best, and at the same time for guidance on every decisions that you make, and at the same time always choose what is the best, not just for you but for everyone.
For everybody, and that's wise counsel.
So again, please like, comment, and subscribe, and look for the comments, because I'm sure that we got a lot that will comment and give their opinion of that matter.